Hi. So on my desk just a couple of days ago, I put a little sticky note, little green tab on my shelf. And I wrote on this sticky note, if you don't have a use, don't buy the tool. And I know some of my friends and my dad and a couple of others have this problem where they see something really cool and they want to buy it and they find gadgets, they find boxes. We have a whole shelf in my room of boxes that come in from Amazon and UPS and different products that are just really cool boxes. But we don't have anything to do with it, but they're also too nice to just throw in the trash. So what do you do at that point? And I've been thinking about this a little bit since I started writing that because I'm around this time of year, I start reevaluating the things that I keep in my pockets, the things that I carry with me. I start cleaning out my bags, my computer bag. I start cleaning my office. It's spring cleaning. That's what we do. And I found myself wanting to try all these different things, wanting to start journaling, wanting to start doing different kinds of art, wanting to start sketching, wanting to start taking pictures and getting new cameras and stuff like that. And I have that's what the sticky note is for. It's a reminder that if I don't have a use for it, I don't need it just because it looks cool. I don't need a new fountain pen because I want to just start writing. You have ballpoint pens, you have pencils on your desk. You could just start writing now. And it's that idea of don't try to buy to fulfill some fantasy. Don't try to grab for something that you don't have just because you like how someone else is using it. And you might be thinking, okay, so what does this have to do with God? Or what does this have to do with theology? Or what does this have to do with the church? Or because that's what you come to this for, right? It's not for my pretty face. It's for there's some lesson to be learned here. There's something to apply to our spiritual life, to our physical life. And even though that's a great tool, that just because you see something you like doesn't mean you need to go out and get it. There's also a warning in it of not every prophecy comes from a prophet. Not every teaching comes from a teacher. Not all wisdom comes from the spirit of wisdom. It's just because something doesn't come from the source that you would expect it to doesn't mean that it's not valid. Just like Paul says, he prays that all may prophesy. But then there's also the office of a prophet like Elijah and Elisha and Isaiah. Those are two different things. There are those who walk in the office of a gift, and then there are those who participate in having that gift or in just a spiritual movement in that gift. So, for example, I was looking on uh, Elijah's list earlier, and you can see the difference very clearly. If you go into the past 50 prophecies, all of these are labeled as prophecies, but some are thoughts and teachings like I'm doing right now. Some are prophecies from prophets like uh Chuck, I just forgot his name. Gloria Zion. Uh Chuck Pierce, that's the word. Chuck Pierce or Rick Joyner or anyways, that they operate as a prophet in the earth. And then you have others that are giving prophecies from dreams, from visions, from feelings, and from sensings that they have that are prophecies from the Lord, that the Lord is saying right now, but they don't operate as a prophet. And we hold those two things as esteemed as different things. When a prophet speaks, you accept it as the word of a prophet and as the word of the Lord. When a prophecy comes forth, Those are good for exhortation, for education, for admonishing, for exhortation. There's two different ways to esteem things. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here is there are those who have the gift and those who walk in the office. Um, Same thing, one of my pet peeves is kingship right now because that's the season that I'm in. And I keep seeing these things that's talking about how we need to go from just being in the church to going into kingship and going from sonship into kingship and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, that's great. But a lot of these are talking about exercising authority, and it's different from walking in kingship. Kingship is the office of a king. That comes with politics, that comes with war, that comes with strategy, that comes with uh, all kinds of different aspects to it that aren't necessarily all tied to just authority. Kingship is responsibility. Authority is authority. Two different things. When you're walking as a king, you don't walk just as someone who can decree a thing and it happens. You walk as someone who understands the ramifications of every decree and the purpose of decreeing a thing. Two different things. And that's it seems very far off from if you don't have a use, don't buy the tool. But at the same time, if you aren't a king in the office of a king, don't claim that responsibility because it's going to be required of you what you claim. If you're not willing to rule over a country, why are you trying to be a ruler? If you're just because you think it's something cool, just because you think it's cool to wear the crown, doesn't mean that it needs to be on your head. And that it's the same. It might make more sense in my head, but I keep seeing all these cool systems and stuff that people build for their EDC, their everyday carry, where they have all these color match pins and all this leather and all these cool gadgets that they keep in their pockets with them and you use it every day. And I think it's so cool. And I just want to have something like that. And then I start thinking about what I actually do day to day to day to day. And most of it doesn't fit. Most of it doesn't work with my system. Most of it doesn't work with what I actually need. Same thing with giftings and callings. You may see how they operate. You may see their relationship with God. You may see how they work in relationship to other people. That's not necessarily what you're called to. That's not necessarily what you're meant to do. So figure out what your lane is, figure out what you're doing, and build the system to your specifications. Don't build a system to someone else's specifications and try to fit yourself into it. That's the wrong way around. It's the wrong heart. So just remember, just because it's cool doesn't mean it's yours or that you need it. Figure out what God actually made you for. Build your system around that calling, and you will go so much further. So hope this makes sense. Makes sense to me. I'm I'm walking it out right now. So I hope it makes sense to you. But be blessed. I'll see you next time.